probably won't be able to see me when I have to turn because the steering wheel is going to be in the way. I have this propped on my dashboard. It's the safest place that I can put my phone until I get some sort of thing to hold my phone up. Probably won't do too many videos in the car, but it'll be nice to have one just in case for times like this. Decided to do it in the car today because today's been kind of crazy. It's only 11:30 in the morning here, and it's already been a pretty crazy morning. My husband got up, he left for work, and Charles has had me up since a little before 8 o'clock. Usually he will go down for a nap within like an hour and a half of being awake. Well, today he decided he wanted to fight nap time. No matter how many times I nursed him, he would pull off, start laughing and playing, but as soon as I put him down to actually let him play, he would just start screaming and want me to pick him back up, so I'd pick him back up. And I think it's just all the teething, and he's just been in a very bad mood. So he finally went down for a nap, but one of the kittens went over and decided to lay with him, which woke him up. So he only slept for about 15-20 minutes, so I figured my best bet was to get in the car to go run the errands that we have to get done for the day. And hopefully he'll fall asleep in the car because that's what he usually does. So today's challenge, I'm just going to do it while I'm driving because it'll be simple. I'll have to go in and put some pictures in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But today's challenge is tattoos and piercings. So I'm actually going to start with piercings just because that's going to be a little bit easier. I have a lot more to go over with tattoos than with piercings. I am actually allergic to just about any metal that I have tried to put into my body. Doesn't matter how expensive the metal was, doesn't matter how cheap it was. For instance, with my ears, they'll swell up, they'll get red, they'll hurt, and they'll get really infected. So I haven't worn earrings in a very long time, but because my ears were pierced when I was a baby, they never closed up because it was too long of a period of time that they were open. I did at once try a couple different piercings. I started with a nose piercing. I had the same issues with that I had with my ears. Of course, it got infected, it hurt. Just no matter how much I cleaned it and took care of it, it was an issue. And I probably had that for about 2 months, so it wasn't a matter of, I was still in the healing stage. It was healed. It was just the metal that I was using was not interacting well with my body. So I ended up just taking that out and letting it close up. And then probably like a year and a half later, I decided I got an industrial piercing, which hurt really bad, but I really liked that piercing. I liked how it looked. And I also got my belly button pierced, which didn't hurt nearly as bad as the industrial piercing. If I had to rate them on pain, I'd probably say the industrial was probably the worst, followed by my nose and then my belly button. My belly button and industrial both had the same issue, of course, that my nose and my ears had. I just unfortunately cannot have metal. Even with my belly button though, I used the plastic belly button rings. Sorry if you can't hear me, there is a loud cement vehicle in front of me, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. I'll have to go back in later and see how this sounds. But with my belly button, I tried using the plastic ones because I was like, I'm allergic to metal, so maybe the plastic rings will do fine. But I think at that point, my belly button was just so irritated and infected from having the metal in there because I'm allergic that it just didn't do well. So I ended up just taking both of those piercings out. At one point, once the infection went away in the industrial, I had my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, try to put it back in because I still really liked that piercing. And I was like, maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe it was just because that one I actually pulled out. It was still within the healing process time. It was probably within 2 weeks of getting the piercing that it came out of my ear because it was just, the pain was awful and it was just so infected. So I took it out for, I think it was just a day. And I told my husband, like I said, he was my boyfriend at that time, but I was like, can you try to put this back in? It's only been a day, but I really want to try now that the infection seems to have calmed down. like, this is probably my most favorite piercing that I've had. So he's like, yeah, well, he tried to put it back through and it hurt so bad. Like, it hurt worse than getting it pierced for the first time because it had pretty much closed up. And of course my husband's just trying to shove not the needle, he's just trying to shove the piercing through my ear without a needle. So needless to say, it closed up on its own within a day, and I have not tried to get another piercing since. As much as I love piercings, they just don't do well with my body. So the next part of this video is, of course, tattoos. I am going to edit this and put pictures of my tattoos in because I can't really show you my tattoos while I'm driving. Some of the places of the tattoos I wouldn't have been able to really show well on video anyways. So I took pictures of them earlier and I'm going to edit them with this video to put online for you guys. So my first tattoo that I got is a heart on my right hip. It was my very first tattoo, and the heart, it says different words like family, love, strength. Sorry, I was passing that truck that I was telling you guys about. But it says a bunch of different words. I couldn't tell you all the words off the top of my head. Probably horrible, I know. But you will see a picture of it. Hopefully you guys can see it all. Most of my tattoos do need touched up, especially my first one, since it's been a few years. So it's losing color in different spots, and you can see where my skin color is coming through behind it. So I do need to get some touched up. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So if you notice that, that is why. My second tattoo that I got is actually on my collarbone up here. I got it with a close friend of mine. It's an infinity sign with paw prints, and it says, "I will never walk alone." And it also has a little heart. Like I said, all these pictures are going to be popping up. My third tattoo that I got, I actually have an infinity symbol, not an infinity, sorry, a semicolon with a anchor and balloon on my wrist and hand. I can kind of show you that while I'm driving. I'm going to kind of go into that one a little more after I talk about the other tattoos, but that's my next tattoo. You'll get to see a picture of it so you can see it a little better. It's hard to show you while I'm driving, obviously. Don't want to be driving one-handed for too long. So my next tattoo that I got is, I'm actually a huge Disney fan. I love Disney. I love a lot of different Disney movies, Disney shows. I grew up on Disney and I still really love Disney. That's why we're actually going to Disney in August. My son won't really remember it, but it's going to be a fun and exciting trip for all of it. So it's big Minnie Mouse ears. In the center of it, there's a stitch, and then up in the ears, there's Tinkerbell and Pascal. Pascal from Tangled. If you guys aren't super familiar with the newer Disney movie, not everyone is familiar with the newer Disney movies. They're more familiar with the older movies. But Pascal is from Tangled, Tinkerbell is obviously from Peter Pan, and then Stitch is from Lilo and Stitch, in case you were wondering. And then underneath it says, "Magic always comes at a price." This one was probably my most painful one because most of it's on my stomach, but it was supposed to be on my ribs. But the way the tattoo artist placed it, it was mostly on my stomach. I'm thankful for that now because the bits and parts that were on my ribs were probably the most awful pain that I've ever had to go through in my entire life. Probably exaggerating, but the pain was very awful and I felt so sick. I kept having to take breaks and it was not good. That one already needs touched up, and it hasn't been long since I've had that one. I think I've had that one for about 2 years now, so I guess it's been a little while. But it already needs touched up, and I'm terrified to go get it touched up. It was supposed to have more color than it does. You'll see in the picture, it has a red bow at the top for the Minnie Mouse ears, but the rest of it does not have color. I planned on doing some shading and possibly some more color, but then once I went through the actual tattoo itself, I was like, no, I can't. It was too painful, so decided not to go forward with adding more color to it. And then my last tattoo that I got was a tattoo for my son after I had it. I had him in August and I got the tattoo in December. It's 2 foxes. It's a mom fox and a baby fox, and it says there's no stronger bond than the one between a mother and her son, and it has his birthday on it. That's probably my favorite tattoo. I think it came out the best, and it's got the most sentimental meaning to me, so that's probably definitely my most favorite tattoo that I have. Going back to the sentimental meaning thing, I'm going to touch base more on, I'm at a red light now, I'm going to touch base more on this tattoo. So it's a semicolon with an anchor and balloon. A lot of people think it looks like a noose. It is not a noose, it is a balloon. I didn't get it shaded in, and I've been meaning to get it shaded in because people think it looks awful. I like the semicolon part of this, but I don't like the rest of the tattoo. The placement's awkward for me, and so many people think it's a noose when it's a balloon, so that makes me dislike it even more. But going back to the sentimental part, if you're not aware of what the semicolon tattoo is, it was a huge movement. A lot of people went and got semicolon tattoos. Semicolons symbolize a sentence isn't done, you're not finished. I'm not very good at describing this, but basically the whole meaning behind it is your story's not over. So a lot of people with depression, or who know people with depression, or they have friends or family who have committed suicide, the semicolon is very meaningful to them. So for me, the semicolon was for me. It wasn't for a friend or a family member. I suffered from really bad depression for a while. I was on and off different types of medication, trying to find what worked for me. And then I finally got to a point where the depression wasn't bothering me, so I quit with the counseling and I quit with the medication. And I've had one relapse since then, and that was back in January of 2016. So it's been about 2.5 years since I've had a relapse. Since I've had my son, I've felt overall like a lot better. I know a lot of women suffer from postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. I have not, thankfully, I did not have any issues with postpartum depression. I have still had issues with anxiety. Anxiety's always been pretty bad for me. Like, it'll get to the point where I feel like throwing up. I can't function. I was on medication for it for the longest time, and it always really helped. But when I got pregnant, the medication that I took wasn't recommended during pregnancy, so I quit taking it. And now that I'm nursing, it's not that it's not recommended, they just don't recommend it for long-term use. So in other words, it's not a great option for day-to-day use. So I haven't been taking my anxiety medication. If I ever have really, really bad anxious days, I'll take one just to kind of get me through the day. My whole point in this was the semicolon was for myself, not in a greedy type way, but just kind of to remind myself that I made it through. I got past the worst of it. I think there's too much stigma around mental health. Not everyone can grasp the concept of mental illnesses. So not everyone understands, because it's one of those things where unless you've gone through it, you don't understand. Like, I know that sounds like such a cliche statement, but it's true. Unless you've gone through depression or anxiety, you don't know what it feels like. So if you have depression or anxiety or anything else that you are scared to talk to someone about because of the stigma, don't be afraid to talk to someone. If it's easier for you to talk to a friend or a family member, talk to someone you're close to. There is no shame in taking care of yourself. I'm sorry that this video took, kind of a turn for like a darker side. It wasn't meant to be. It was more just to touch base on why I have this tattoo. But it just kind of took me into a tangent because it bothers me, all the stigma that goes around mental health. But I figured I would show you guys my tattoos and piercings. Well, can't show you my piercings, and I will have pictures of the tattoos just so you guys can see. But we are actually getting ready to go into Target. So I also wanted to let you guys know. So originally I said that I was going to be releasing a special video tomorrow, Saturday. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I'm still doing the big thing tomorrow. Still going to vlog about it. You're actually going to get to meet my husband this time because he's going to be in tomorrow's vlog. We're doing something special. But I think that what I'm doing tomorrow is it's gonna be a lot of editing, and I'm still getting used to this whole vlogging thing. Like I said, this is just something fun for me, so I'm not used to this and I don't know 100% what I'm doing. It's gonna take a lot of editing to do what I want to do with the video based on what we're doing. So the video probably will not be up until Sunday. I might still release one small little video tomorrow. Maybe I'll do one of the small challenges. If not, the only video that you guys will be getting this weekend will be the big surprise video. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel just so you make sure you get the notification for this weekend's video. It's going to be really awesome. I'm so excited to do the video. If you have any guesses on what kind of vlog we're doing this weekend, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys this weekend. Bye.